have been forever since you had lost a game.
Yeah, it was my first time losing since I've been here. I mean, that's a good thing. So we just take what we need to take from the loss and keep it moving. Not make too much of it and just rely on our preparation and rely on our work.
Yeah, I mean, just how strong is the belief that you guys are so resilient that you'll move beyond what took place at Ford Field?
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, the worst thing you can do is let one loss. Obviously, is take what you need to take from the loss, like I've repeatedly said. But you don't want to let one loss kind of linger into the next week. You kind of want to take what you need from it and flush it.
How valuable is playoff experience? It's been a while since you've played in a playoff game.
Yeah, I think it is valuable, but I think at the same time at the end of the day, you got to go out and perform. No matter how many times you've been in the playoffs or how many times you haven't been in the playoffs, it's about what you do when you get there.
You were injured in 22, correct me if I'm wrong, so the last time you played in a playoff game was 17.
Yeah, 17 is my rookie year.
I mean, just crazy to think that it's been that long.
I think about it often, so not really that crazy for me, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Who is the unsung hero in this locker room?
Oh man, that's a loaded question.
I mean, or maybe better worded this way. Who's somebody that deserves flowers that doesn't necessarily get the flowers that they truly do deserve?
I'm going to go Blake Brandel just because that's who I play next to, and he helps me out so much. He's been such a help for me from the moment I stepped in, and so that's who I'm going to go with.
I mean, that's supposed to be the beauty of Blake. I mean, he's got tackle flexibility, and obviously he's gravitated toward playing guard really well.
Yeah, he's been everything for me, and he's been everything for me. He's meant so much to me since I've been here, so it's my guy. That's who I'm going with.
Perfect, Cam. Thank you.
Thank you.
How much do you guys focus on the game against the Rams? Because both teams have certainly changed a lot since then.
I mean, there's certainly a lot you can learn anytime you play an opponent the first time, in terms of personnel, different matchups, kind of how they played the game, how we played the game, and where we can be better. So it's one you lean on for sure.
How important is playoff experience? Varying degrees. Some guys played in Super Bowl. Some guys, this will be their first. You've had some tastes here and there. How important is play? Do we overrate that? Do we underrate that?
I don't know whether you guys overrated or underrated at all. 3rd and 8, still 3rd and 8, and I think everybody got kind of a little bit of a taste last week of what kind of a higher stakes game like that means. Now it's not win or go home, but it certainly had the same feeling of a little more elevated than a normal game. So I think last week was a good experience for a lot of guys who maybe haven't been there before, and those games are fun.
The deep one. Who's the unsung hero on this team this year? Who has not gotten maybe the recognition, or who do we not see enough of to appreciate the work they put in, whether it's practice field or things in the game? Is there a guy that, God, I wish so-and-so people knew how much this guy's value to the team is? I know that's a tough one.
No, it's a good one. I like answering
this
question.
Well, that's why I like. We're coming up with.
I like this question.
All right. You can do a couple.
I mean, the first one that comes to mind that I don't think ever gets. Well, it's hard because
whatever it means to you.
Well, yeah. It's hard because I don't really know who gets credit and who doesn't.
Fair.
But I think
Johnny Mudd.
Okay. I certainly think he plays a big role. But if you there's we have a saying kind of in the around football, those who know, and those who know about Josh Oliver know, whatever the stats are, whatever maybe a couple highlight clips are. But if you know football and you watch Josh Oliver play, he does it the right way.
How, in a complimentary way, how scary is that offense where Kyron can do his thing? They've got 2 receivers. Stafford's been at this forever. When you look at it, how much do you guys know we got to be on it this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's the playoffs, and I think every team who's, playing this weekend or the ones who got the bye, earned this position, and they're here for a reason. A lot of that has to do with the quarterback and Cooper Kupp and Puka. 2 Super Bowl guys already, and then you add in a guy who's been lighting the league up his first couple of years, him and Kyron. So yeah, definitely got a task at hand, but we're up for the challenge. We earned the right to be here too. So yeah, I mean, it goes both ways.
Who's the deep one? Who's the unsung hero on this team this year? Who's the guy that doesn't get the headlines and maybe doesn't show up in the highlight reels, but you think is a guy that has been really important to what you guys are accomplishing still this year?
Offense, defense, I feel like it's a guy in every room. It's unsung heroes all throughout the building. I mean, I know Depot is a big unsung hero. You know, people think he's just a snapper, and that's all he does. That's not all he does. He's one of our major leaders. He does so much within that special teams room, just game planning, understanding, watching tape. You know, understanding what teams are trying to do. And then obviously being an all-pro player, then you got C.J. Ham, same thing. He always, I would say, every year is an unsung hero. How much he's been able to help the running game, and obviously special teams is his thing. You know, he's always the guy on there. So it's a lot of guys who've been doing a lot of dirty work. Shout out to the whole D-line. I'd say every time the D-line, for me especially, they're unsung heroes just because they allow, you know, the splashy plays, you know, for the back end and stuff. So. We got a lot of unsung heroes, O-line as well. I can shout out everybody on this team, really, who don't get the recognition. But, I mean, obviously we got the guys who do. I would say Cash is a really big one, especially on the defensive side, especially, you know, just being our play caller, being the one to get us in and out of stuff. 2-2 is always up there. I mean, I could go down the list. I feel like, you know, we all do our part, man, and that's the good part about this team. We got a lot of those.
Last one for me. You never want to lose a football game, but are there things that you take out of last week that, by losing the way you lost, it maybe helps you lock in for what might lie ahead these next 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, I could just take the words out of Flo's mouth. You know, there's always lessons learned in defeat, and we learned a big one last week. And I mean, you could call it perfect timing or whatever you want to call it, but we in the dance now, so we know it's win or go home. And if we want results the way we, you know, we set out to do each and every day, it can't feel like it felt on Sunday night. So we know what that feeling felt like. We know what we didn't do right. You know, we already moved past that. We're on to the Rams. But, you know, having that feeling in the back of your head, it definitely helps.
How much do you reflect upon what took place? I guess it would have been, 3 years ago, 4 seasons ago,
Say it again?
winning the Super Bowl. How much do you reflect upon that Super Bowl victory?
It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. Obviously, that year was a kind of whirlwind for me. I was coming back off my injury, came back for the postseason, but when I did come back, I felt the energy. I felt a part of the team, and I feel that energy here. So I want to keep it going and hopefully get there again and do it again. So, you know.
I'll leave you after this. Who's the unsung hero in this locker room?
The unsung hero? Just everybody. You know, it's hard to pinpoint one person because a lot of the games we've won have been everybody doing their job from all phases of the game, defense, offense, and special teams, so coaches too. I think it's everybody. Everybody's won, from the people that don't play, put on pads, to us. So we all won. Everybody's equally as important.
Even if the game is played there, it's a tough situation for Southern California right now.
Yeah, it's just something that obviously us Californians go through every year, but this is probably one of the worst I've seen, just as far as the danger and the homes that are actually getting hit. Most of the time it's just in the mountains and it'll get close, so you evacuate, but it's just so sad seeing that people I know, their houses are being burned down. So it's one of those situations where it's tough, and I know if we do play at LA, it'll be tough because of the air quality, but regardless, most thing I'm thinking about is the people and my people whose families are having to evacuate, and really it's just sad. So just praying for everybody that's stuck in that situation.
Do you think they should move it?
Whatever's healthy. I'm not really up to school on the, how healthy it is or not, but regardless, I'm ready to play football wherever. But I know it'll probably be really tough to make it happen just with how close the fires are and having that many people coming into one setting. The traveling, I know the streets are all messed up right now as far as like being blocked off. So logistically, it'll probably be tough to play. So I think the smartest thing would be to move the game. But like I said, I'm not an expert on if we should or if it's healthy enough to play or not.
Those 2 wide receivers so talented. What was kind of your experience last game, and what you kind of gleaned from that?
Yeah, just going against them, we know what type of receivers they have. They have some deep threats, but also talking about Puka and Cooper, just really good receivers and really polished receivers. So knowing that they're going to be perfect on everything that they do with a really good quarterback, so we have to also be really detailed in everything we do, knowing their division of labor of what they like to attack and with who.
I like the way this defense has caused turnovers, and we know that when teams usually win the turnover battle, you win. How much is that emphasized going into a game like this where it's a winner take all?
Yeah, really every single game, that's like the biggest thing that we emphasize is taking the ball away, because we know that's a direct correlation to wins and losses. But in the playoff football, everything's amplified as far as, all the noise and everything, but it's still a game of football where, turnovers will win you games. and giving the ball away will lose you games, but the more you can take the ball away and protect the ball when you have it, that's going to lead you to a victory. So really, with all the noise of the playoffs and everything, yeah, that's cool, but we know at the basis of football, it's all just going to be, can you take the ball away and can you protect it on offense?
How much does playoff experience matter? This locker room's got some guys who played in Super Bowl, some guys this will be their first taste. How much do you think it matters to have the exposure to that?
It matters, but it's not a, end all be all, because everybody you prepare during the week, you're going to play well in the game. No matter how loud the stadium is, no matter how big the stage is, you're still going to go play up to your preparation. So if you do the right things during the week, as far as watching film, studying, putting your extra work in, taking care of yourself, the work is going to show in the week. But experience can't hurt. Just knowing how teams like to play and switch things up in the playoffs versus are they staying true to who they are or they're not. But like I said, at the end of the day, you got to go out there and compete and win your one-on-one matchups. That's the square number one.
Along that same line, who's the most unsung hero in this locker room for what's going on here the last 18, 19 weeks? Is there a guy in here that outsiders looking in don't know how important that person is to what you guys have accomplished this year? I know that's a tough one.
That's a super tough one on the spot too. I'd just say recently, for sure, Ivan Pace, somebody that's he's a young guy but always has an impact when he's in a game. And we saw him come back recently, and just seeing the type of plays that he makes in a run game and just being able to take the ball away. We saw what he was able to do last time. Then the first time against the Lions also, scooping and scoring. So somehow he's always going to find a way to make a play, whether it's some crazy sack where he's running around, some juking some linemen. And he's just one of those guys that just always makes splash plays, and somebody that I appreciate having on the defense.
How do you put the last game behind you guys because it was just so atypical of what this team has done.
Right.
And to get it back to where you were, do you just look at the body of work you did up until that point and say, you know what, we know we're still one of the best teams in this league?
No, I think we look at the last game also and take the good things from it. Okay, we did this well, so we need to keep doing it, but look at the bad things that snowball affected to us giving up the amount of points that we did and to not be able to get the results that we want. You have to use that, and I think the best thing that a good team and a mature team can do is learn from a loss. And it was so easy to really move on from all those wins that we had and maybe brush over some of the bad things that happened. But now with that loss, now we're looking at every single tiny mistake that we made as far as your footwork. For me, every little step I'm really trying to detail down to be perfect so I don't make any mistakes moving forward. And I think those are certain lessons that you can't get from winning, and it's harder to get from winning. So when you lose a game, it's almost a blessing. And obviously as a competitor, you hate to lose. But at the end of the day, if you learn from it, I think you can learn a lot more from a loss than you can from a win.
Team V team film to look at with these guys?
Yeah, that's always super helpful. You guys know covering the division enough. It's what you always say. It's really hard to beat a team twice because everyone makes adjustments. It's different game plans, all those things. And so I know for everything that we're game planning, we're expecting new things, and we'll have to definitely be willing to change up stuff, inner drive, inner half, inner quarter on all sides of the football. But it's definitely nice to have some familiarity with your matchups and things like that.
Nobody ever wants to lose a game, but if you have to in that manner, was last week the time to do it, where it gives you guys some pretty immediate feedback that things move up from here on out?
I mean, I don't, like you mentioned, I don't think you ever want to try to place where you want to win a game or where you want to lose a game. It's a want-to-know mindset each week. When you fall short of that, it's tough. You take the coaching, you try to flush it, and you try to move on. We have a mature football team and a mature staff that is, game planning really well and trying to provide us with the best opportunities to do that.
You guys didn't get Matthew Stafford on the ground at all in that last matchup. How much is pressure a point of emphasis this time around?
Yeah, I would credit what they're doing really well. I think he's one of the top in the leagues at getting the ball out of his hand quick. And I think I saw a stat that in the last 5 games, they've only given up 1 sack or something like that. So they do a really good job up front, understanding, and that's an all-11 stat because receivers are able to get open and coaches are able to call good stuff. So we know that in this business, they pay those quarterbacks a lot of money, and they pay those guys that chase quarterbacks a lot of money too. So that's where the game is won and lost. And so we're hoping that we can put together a solid plan, or hold up in coverage and do great rushes so that we can affect the quarterback because he's elite at what he does.
Kyren Williams set up 100 yards passing or receiving and rushing. What's kind of the key to containing him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into our game plan at all, but we know that that's a player that we definitely have to have eyes for. We faced a lot of great backs this year, but he's definitely in that conversation for one of the best. doing it at a very high level. So, also love our guys too.
I'm trying to ask guys, who's the unsung hero in this locker room? A guy that maybe from we fans outside looking in, maybe don't know that person's value to what you guys have accomplished this year.
Ooh, I would say I don't like to use the word a glue guy because that kind of like tends to maybe say that they're not a very talented player. But Jihad Ward is one of the best guys in this locker room. Hottie, win, loss, draw, highs, lows. Like he's someone who just is a great energy player and you guys probably have that feel being in this locker room. You kind of know the outlandish things that he's doing and saying, and it's just good for energy. And then on the field, I know I wouldn't say he's unsung hero, but I think what Cashman's done from what his career was till he got to this point, I don't know, he's always kind of missed a few games due to injury, bounced on a couple teams. Whatever his story was, he's a player that is, I think, also performing one of the best in the league at what he does, and we're a damn good football team when he's out there healthy and helping us.
But just overall, in your mind, how valuable is playoff experience?
I think it can definitely be useful, and just having that knowledge of kind of what to expect, and how the energy is just heightened, and every play matters, but it's still one play at a time. I think at the end of the day, it's still football. So we've been playing. A lot of us been playing football since we were little kids, and so at the end of the day, I just tell the rookies and young guys it's just another football game. Leading up to it, you have a lot more anticipation and hype. But as long as you do your job, be accountable, and just trust your teammates. Just play ball and be relaxed.
Is there also a realization, though, that this moment doesn't, it's not guaranteed every year? Like Dalton Risner's never played in a playoff game.
Yeah, wow. I think, you just gotta, have that peace of mind and calmness, that you've been building for something all season long, and as long as you keep improving and keep having that trust and faith in your teammate that they're going to do their job, and don't make the moment bigger than what it is, because at the end of the day, it's football, and you just have to have that joy and same excitement that you do all 17 games of the year.
Unsung hero. Is there somebody that comes to mind in this locker room that's an unsung hero?
Man, there's so many guys, from specialists like Trent Sherfield that continues to make a play as a gunner, and I could go down the list, to Depot having good snaps consistently, and just the leader that he is, being a captain, and you go from JG and Cash and kind of what they've been able to do on a weekly basis, and there's too many guys to choose from, and I'm thankful to be a part of this team.
How tough was that film session on Monday?
It's something that we definitely need to learn from, and you can't get better if you don't have growth and you don't have a little bit of faith and dependability, and accountability. You got to be able to own what you put on tape, and when you mess up or make a mistake, you gotta own it and come in with that mindset that you're going to learn from it and get better, and try not to let it happen again.
Was it hard to watch that in your pick six? It was a brilliant play to be in that position, right? But we've seen you make that play.
Yeah, that's what is so devastating about it. I was right there. It touched my finger and both my hands, and it's something that I don't let go easily. The competitor that I am, I expect to make those plays, and when you fall short, especially a big moment like that would have changed the game, and the chance to maybe go down and score, that weighs on my heart, but still at the end of the day, you got to flush it. It wasn't meant to be, and you just gotta, you gotta flush it down the toilet and learn from it and get better.
Dalton, you've never played in a playoff game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
how'd you know that?
You've never played in a playoff game.
Yeah, I haven't. Man.
What comes to mind when I say that?
It's been something I've been looking forward to all year, ever since we secured a spot in the playoffs. To just get the opportunity to do that, be a part of this team and make a run. And yeah, my 6th year in the NFL, this is the first time I've gotten to play in the postseason. So super excited about it. Stoked.
How crazy is that? There are guys, Cam Robinson played as a rookie in 2017, right? There's other examples, right? Think about the rookies in this locker room, but 6 years in, you never played.
I think it makes it a little more special. A lot of guys were able to do that their rookie year. This is their 3rd or 4th time, and for me, it's my first time in 6 years, and it just makes it that much more special. And I hold on to it more, and I'm excited for it, and I'm going to relish it. And yeah, it took a little longer than I thought, but now that the opportunity's here, I'm just going to enjoy the heck out of it, man. So, yeah, it's crazy. Doesn't surprise me with the team we've had, the work that we've put in, the head coach we have, the organization we have, all that good stuff.
Do you think playoff experience matters?
For me, I treat it as another game. We just got done playing at Ford Field with fans that were going crazy and, playing for the division and playing for the #1 seed, and that's a rowdy game, I played at Arrowhead when I was in Denver with divisional games, and played at US Bank Stadium. I played at US Bank Stadium as well as a visitor before, so I've played in a lot of experiences like that. So that's not underselling what the playoffs can be like, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what the playoffs can be like. I've watched a lot of playoffs on TV, so we'll just have to see what happens, man. I think that you treat it as a playoff game, and there's higher stakes, of course. It's win or go home. At the same time, what we've done all year, I've said it in previous interviews, but we've got to where we're at because we've taken each week as 1-0, and that's what we got to continue to do.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking maybe this wild card weekend, it doesn't really matter. Maybe the Super Bowl, it matters.
Yeah.
But like the Giants came here a couple of years ago, beat the Vikings in a playoff game.
Yeah.
And guess what? A lot of those Giants had never played in a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl matters, the wild card matters, division matters, but if you start thinking about the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship or the divisional round before the wild card round's over, I think you find yourself in a tough spot. And that's if you get up 7-0 or 14-0 or you're up at halftime. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all in this playoff race because we're good football teams. No one's going to give up. So we got to take it 1-0. Let's focus on the wild card round. Let's focus on the LA Rams. And literally, let's focus on what the Minnesota Vikings can do and how we can do things better throughout the game. And if we do that, that's what we did 14 times this season, and it worked pretty well.
How challenging is that Rams defensive front?
Rams are a good football team, man. Whether it be Fisk, the rookie number 55, or Kobe Turner, or the linebackers, or the DBs coming down, or Jared Verse, the Pro Bowler, or Young on the other side. I mean, they got a lot of talented players in that front seven and in the secondary, and we've played them already this year. So that's good for them. That's good for us. We both got a taste of what we're like, and they got us the first time. At the same time, I think if we just focus on what we can do as Minnesota Vikings, we'll be fine. But we respect our opponents. They're in the playoffs for a reason.
I mean, expect kind of, copycat league where they're going to maybe do some stuff that Detroit did?
Maybe. They might do some stuff they did the first time we played them as well. We might do some stuff we did the first time, and that's football, man. That's no matter what team you play, who you play, in what situation. I think some teams are going to stick to what they know, and some teams are going to throw some new stuff in there. And at the end of the day, we know what we're good at. They know what they're good at. Let's go clash on Monday night and see what happens.
Definitely excited, definitely understand, the situation, that we're going into as a team. Definitely just been looking forward to moments like this, since I was young. So, it's definitely a good experience. So,
I also think you played in how many monumental games at Alabama, so
yeah.
Probably comparable to what you're facing on Monday.
Yeah, it's definitely, I love the smoke, so yeah.
I mean, can you draw from those experiences playing in those big games at Alabama and take that into Monday?
I feel like, it really starts during the regular season with our divisional games. I say that, just understanding, how big those games are. And then, carrying over to Week 18, and then going into the playoffs, with the wild card appearances, just understanding, I wouldn't call it pressure, but, it's a privilege, to be in the situation that we're in as a team. And, just trying to make the most of the opportunity that we have. So,
how much changes for you with no Pat Jones?
No Pat Jones?
Yeah, I mean, does that change much in your mind?
I mean, yeah, it's just, I miss my guy, seeing my guy in means and stuff like that, of course. But other than that, it's definitely, just get to, fill in the role, that he played in, and just kind of take some game, from what he experienced on the field, and just be an open book, and just be a sponge to soak up all the knowledge he has. So yeah.
Who is the unsung hero in this locker room?
Man, it's a lot.
Or somebody that maybe doesn't get the flowers that maybe they deserve. Any name or names come to mind?
I mean, you said it. In my opinion, I feel like Pat Jones is really one of the biggest unsung heroes on the defense. Really just overall, versatility, being able to play, every position, on the D-line. If that's from a zero shade to a 3-tech to a wide 9, it's definitely a versatile player. You don't really come across players like that too often, from what I've seen and in the league. It's just the frame he has, the athletic ability, and just the power he holds, and under them pads. I don't know what it is, but, he definitely got some power to him for sure, and that's a very unsung hero on our team. That's in my opinion, though. So.